Welcome to RAADcast, where science and soul converge in shaping the future of human potential. I'm your host, Dr. Melissa Grill-Peterson, and together we're stepping beyond limits to explore super longevity. Produced by the Coalition for Radical Life Extension, the visionaries behind RADfest, RADcast is more than a podcast. It's a movement for the bold, the curious, and those who refuse to settle for anything less than the extraordinary. Together, we'll uncover the cutting-edge science, unknown strategies, and transformative practices, paving the way for a future of limitless potential. If you're ready to think bigger, dream bolder, and live longer, you're in the right place. This is RADcast. Now let's get ready to explore the future of life itself. Hi, everyone. Welcome to RADcast, where science and soul converge to shape the future of human potential. I'm your host, Dr. Melissa Grill-Peterson. And today we are diving deep into the power of cellular health and longevity with a true pioneer in the field. Joining us is Dr. Nayan Patel, a globally recognized expert in glutathione, cellular health, and anti-aging longevity medicine. He's a sought-after speaker, researcher, and pharmacist, and has pioneered innovative delivery systems for glutathione optimization, and is the author of the best-selling book, The Glutathione Revolution. In today's conversation, we'll explore the groundbreaking science behind glutathione. It can be a game changer for extending health span and enhancing longevity. So get ready for an inspiring discussion packed with actionable strategies to help you live better, longer. Dr. Patel, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me this morning. Appreciate the time today.
I am so looking forward to this conversation. If anybody's watching the video, if you can see him right now, you see what a ray of light he is. You are just emitting so much light, so many good vibes. I'm just so excited to have a really just energized conversation that I know is going to impact, inspire, and engage everyone listening today. So let's kind of dive right into your area of expertise. You have been doing research for a very long time in glutathione. What kind of sparked your love of this particular molecule?
You know, I was idealistic when I first graduated from pharmacy school that, hey, medication is going to save people's lives. And in reality, what I quickly found out is the medications are not going to save anything. All they're going to do is manage people's problems.
Mm.
And that even holds today. There's no medication in the world that is solving any problem unless you have infections. It's a whole different story. But other than that, if you have organ damage, if you have concerns with your body, medication is not going to solve the problem. And so all the things that we have is we enhancing our own body's capabilities to basically fight with the problems.
Yeah.
And so I looked back, I said, hey, if that's true, if that is true, what is the number one thing the body produces that we have to enhance it? And of course, it was easy answer. The answer was glutathione. And I
Ah,
look back, I said, hey, I'm a young kid, fresh out of pharmacy school. I'm sure we've been doing this for about 100 plus years. People have already done the research and figured these things out. And guess what? The answer was big fat no. Nobody knew how to actually enhance glutathione levels above and beyond what your body can produce. And so that's what my research basically started back in 1999. Uh, I started my work on trying to figure out how to basically get to it, right? And it's again, the best researchers are not the one that are actually doing something. What the
yeah.
best researchers are actually the one that are observing everything. And this
Ooh, I
was
love
all
that.
about observations. It's all about observations in my lab. And
Yeah.
long story short, we observed a pattern of how glutathione is actually getting into the system. We
Yeah.
enhanced that technology, and 10, 7 years, 8 years later, we had a product ready in my lab to be tested. So,
Mm.
anyways, so today
This is
we are here.
exciting. Oh my God.
Yeah.
In a relatively short time frame. Well, and you've just brought up a couple of great points that I want to highlight. And because this is really important for everybody listening, you said something, a great researcher is an observer. And I find that too often in healthcare, both as practitioners, even as the patient, we forget to ask ourselves the question, you know, for not only for what reason, but like for what reason would we give a medication? So, what is it supposed to do? But how did we actually get here? So, like you said, most medications don't actually correct anything. They manage things, but they don't actually correct. And we forget in the field of medicine, we forget as individuals, somehow something has occurred. And oftentimes it's many things that have just been a cumulative effect that have compromised the system. And so I like that you got really curious to say, okay, well, when the system is compromised, what's the go to process at play to help the system recover and kind of ward this off? And you found that it was glutathione. And so then you discovered a delivery system. So for everybody listening, of course, the obvious question is, what is glutathione?
Of course, yeah. I mean, it's a three amino acid coming together. It's a tripeptide. It's too much technical jargons or too much chemistry behind that one. Nobody wants to know what it is. What they really do want to know is what does it do?
That's right.
Right? So
You know,
people,
I don't even need to be here today, gang. Like he knows, he does it. Like, yes, yes, yes. Keep going, doc.
yeah.
Exactly.
So
What does it do?
the glutathione is known for two of its properties because, again, keep in mind, 140 plus years that we have known glutathione. Uh, if you don't have the proper delivery system, we haven't even harnessed all the benefits of glutathione yet. And so the two things that we do know is it's the most powerful antioxidant produced by human body. It quenches all the free radicals. If you don't know about free radicals basically dampens your whole organs, all your body systems. It blocks the receptors from healing and basically rejuvenating. Free radicals are actually the one causes havoc in our whole body, and we do not absolutely not need any of those excess of this. So that's one property. The second property that we do know is it's a master conjugator, which basically combines with known toxic chemicals and heavy metals and absolutely help you eliminate through your liver or through your kidneys or through your intestines. Either way, we have to eliminate all these chemicals. Either we consume in the food sources, comes in our clean beauty, from environmental sources. You inhale something, you drink something. Everything comes inside our body, and our body has to eliminate that part. So the glutathione is actually very helpful in helping those. So those are the two things that we do know
Mm.
for fact, but the ramification of those two things alone are endless.
Well, when we think about it, you know, it's often been referred to as the master
Huh?
detoxifier, right? And so and that really speaks to, for a moment, the reality that, so like you said, hey, most medications don't correct anything, and
Huh?
glutathione is the thing that does. But let's talk about why, like what's happening in the body. We are living in a time where there are so many demands coming into the system, so many inputs, specifically burdens, too much. So we know there's toxins, right? We know there's a variety of toxins causing these toxicant burdens. Even with aging, we know the process of senescent cells creates an inflammatory burden. So let's talk for a few minutes about some of the things that the body would need. So explain natural detoxification and then some of these exogenous additional loads that make us need more glutathione production, because you kind of said, hey, how do we make more of it? But why would we even need to make more of it?
Absolutely. And that's again, that's a very simple answer to me because I'll just show you an analogy. So for millions of years, right? If you're an animal, you lived in a jungle, the jungle is still the same even today's date, hasn't changed. Humans comes around. We were at 1 billion population, and then we went to 3 billion population. Now we had 8 or 9 billion population. And we are the biggest polluter of this world. We're building things, we're driving things, we're flying things, we're excavating the earth and trying to get some products out of the earth and making some things out of it. And it's every single thing that we do is creating more and more pollution in our in the environment that eventually we're the one consuming it in the first place.
Yeah.
And so if you think that that's going to change, uh, go back 100 years ago, and they will tell you that, oh, yeah, things are going to change. And yes, it has changed. It's got worse. And 100 years from today, it's not going to be any different than what's today. It's probably going to get worse than what we have today.
Yeah.
So, knowing enhancing our own defense system is the cornerstone for anybody who is willing to or who wants to at least stay healthy and have a potential to live a longer life. You're not going to live a long life if you're not healthy, anyways, right? So the key is not about living longer. The key is, can I stay healthy enough
Yeah.
so that I can enjoy my life for whatever time I have? And because I'm staying healthy, can I live a few extra years? Absolutely, you can, right?
Hmm.
But going after a health span is much more beneficial than going after a lifespan to me.
The longevity revolution is about more than just searching online for a few hacks, or any one of us moving our biomarkers in the right direction. It's about coming together to learn, share, to connect, and create the unlimited future we want. That's why you need to be at RADfest 2025 in Las Vegas from July 10th to the 13th. RADfest, the revolution against aging and death, is proud to be partnering for the first time with Dr. Aubrey de Grey and Longevity Escape Velocity Foundation to form the single most comprehensive, advanced, informative, and inspiring event on age reversal for a general audience. Meet the people you want to make forever with. RADfest 2025. Take advantage of lower advanced pricing now at radfest.com.
Correct. I agree. We have to be healthy first, right? It's like about living better today for longer tomorrows, because I think we can all agree if we're not feeling great today, we're not really thinking about 20, 40, 50 years from now. We're like, gosh, how do I make it through the day? So
Right.
I'm curious because this has been your area of focus and expertise for so long. You've created, delivery systems, your research, and we'll dive into more of your research. I want to know about some of the findings. So let's talk about practicality.
Okay.
What are some things when, yes, so the demand is getting more and more and more year over year, decade after decade. So we need, as humans, some better defense systems, some better protection, some better inner support. And what you're telling us is glutathione is that first line defense. So from people, let's jump ahead in the story a little bit. For people that have been increasing their glutathione, whether they're taking it in an exogenous supplemental form, and I'll ask your opinion in a minute of the best ways, or they're doing lifestyle things. What are some of the amazing outcomes or benefits or results you've seen from increased glutathione intake?
All right. So I'm going to give it an analogy for that one. And I want viewers to understand what I'm talking first, because then they'll understand what the next answer is going to be for you.
Okay.
So let's say you come home. Of course, you're in a hurry, you open the door, you leave the door open, and there's a wind coming out, and then boom, all the dust comes in, the leaves comes in, the snow comes in if you're in the snow area. Anyways, the house is a mess. So what you do is you take the broom and the vacuum and start cleaning the house. But the house doesn't get cleaned up because guess what? What you forgot to do was close the door, right? And the human body is similar to that one. We are always trying to clean the body from inside. All we forget to do is close the door. You
Mm,
cannot, you cannot repair and restore your body from inside if the insults are still coming in. You
mm,
cannot say that, hey, I have a liver issue and I'm going to fix my liver. I'll take all this medication, but you don't stop drinking,
right.
right? So you have to stop the insults. And once the insults are stopped, then the body starts healing from inside. And what are the insults? The number one insults to the body is oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is linked to literally every known diseases today. Forget the antibiotics with the infections. But even that has some roles in there too. If you look at the top 10 causes of death in the world today, one of them is accidents. Let's take it out of the picture, right? The other nine, every one of them is linked to oxidative stress. So if that's the true, oxidative stress is not the cause of the disease. Oxidative stress is what preventing the body to heal from the diseases. And so, if that's true, then having glutathione on board, it is what it's going to do is close the door for you. Is it going to do the vacuum and cleaning up your house? No, it's not going to do that. Well, it may aid a little bit, but that's not the purpose of it. The purpose of glutathione is to close the door. So now you're allowing your body to heal from inside. And so unless you do that part, it's not going to happen. So the symptoms you're talking about, I say, what am I going to feel and what am I going to see? What have I observed? The observation is all depends on your body's own defense system. So if you're young and you take glutathione, when I say young, I'm talking about 30s, 40s, and 50s, right? If you're young and taking glutathione, you're going to see a change in your body relatively fast. You're going to observe the benefits relatively fast because your body is wants to heal from inside, but the door is not shut yet, right?
Yeah.
When you shut the door down, and if you have issues, I'm not sure what issues you have because there are thousands of issues that are linked to oxidative stress. Some people have fatigue issues, sleep issues. Some have onset of some diseases, or they're struggling with something. They all have a chance to repair itself. Now,
Hmm.
that does not mean that if you're 90 years old that you cannot heal yourself. And I'll give
Right.
a simple example for that one too. My dad at the age of 78 had a heart attack, we did an angio and had was completely blocked arteries, put a stent in there. And of course, a 78 years old who had a heart attack, infarction, stent put in there, had type 2 diabetes for almost 40 years, arthritis for almost 30 plus years, had blood pressure issues. He's surviving. He's not living his golden years, right? He's surviving, right?
Yeah.
And about the time we discovered the delivery of glutathione, that's the only thing we added at that time. 2.5, 3 years later, I was visiting him one of those days, and I was observing that he was enjoying his sweets and carbs. And I've never seen a part of his before. And I said, what's going on? I talked to my brother's wife. He was living with my brother. I said, what's going on? I said, well, he's enjoying life because his sugar levels are normal. I said, what? I said, sugar has been normal for almost 2 years. I said, no way. So I said, I didn't trust you. So I looked up all the lab results, and sure enough, his sugar level has been normalized. And so because of that, he's enjoying life. So I didn't want to tell him that, oh, you're out of the zone now. So I told him that, said, oh no, you know what, Dad? That's good. You enjoy food. Make sure you have enough proteins with it, but make sure you do not stop walking. You should at least walk
Yes.
30 minutes a day, right? So
Yes.
that do the walking. I said, son, what are you talking about? Here's my health app. Check it
Yep.
out. He's been walking 6 miles a day every single day. And mine just blew up. I said, this guy hasn't walked for a long time. Why was he doing walking
Amazing.
with his arthritis? And now he's already 82, 83 years old. He's walking, he's enjoying life. And of course, he had arthritis, so his deformed knees. So dad comes to me and says, hey, I need some knee replacement done because I cannot walk properly. I went to the doctor at the age of 83. I said, doctor, he needs knee replacement done. I said, doc goes, yeah, well, I mean, his knees are really bad. I can't even imagine how he's walking today. Uh, sure enough, he convinced him to do double knee replacement. The doctor says
Oh
only
my
one more
gosh.
time.
And they did the surgery at his age?
At this age, at the age of 84, he was scheduled at the age of 84, double knee replacement, both at the same time. Uh, and the doctor says that he'll be bedridden. He cannot do anything for at least 4 to 6 months. Nothing,
Yeah.
not much. I mean, recovery is going to be hard. 36 hours after the surgery, he was home walking on his own. Of course, he had painful. It was just not fun. He was so determined to have perfect feet when he
Yeah.
walks. They started walking regularly with the pain. He struggled through that part. But here's the ultimate thing. 3.5 months later, packed up his bag, and he was gone, traveling the world again, traveling the world again. And so the last part of the story is that he passed away last year. He was enjoying his life so much. He was enjoying his life so much. He was out traveling. He was in India. He was at the beach, eating some street foods, got some stomach bug, had some loose bowel movements, for a couple of days. And the next morning, bam, he fell down, broke his skull completely. He had internal bleeding. He was fine. He was coherent. He was talking. He was completely okay. I arranged a neurosurgeon to go see him immediately. Got to see him, talk to him, and say he's fine. He's coherent. Everything is fine. He's some bleeding going on, but if he survives the next 3, 4 days, he should be okay to come to the United States again. And the dad calls us, all of us, and says, "Hey, see, I told you I'm fine. Don't worry about it." He FaceTimes
Uh,
us, talk to the whole family. I said, okay,
oh.
it's already midnight. I gotta go to sleep now. So goodbye. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Oh.
Puts the phone down and never wakes up again.
Oh, you're gonna
And
make
so
me cry.
at that age, he was 89 years old. He was 89. And I'm telling people is that from 78 to 89, was he surviving or living?
Are you ready to redefine aging and unlock your full potential as a longevity leader? At the Human Longevity Institute, our world class certification programs train doctors, coaches, and wellness professionals how to deliver cutting edge integrative longevity health solutions so people can live better today for longer, healthier, and more vibrant tomorrows. If you're ready to join the longevity revolution, visit humanlongevityinstitute.com to enroll and become a practitioner today. He was fully living. And so, first of all, I just want to take a moment and I want to honor your father and his legacy because,
Thank you.
like I think you literally just brought me to tears. Um, and I'm sure that anybody listening, what an inspiring story, what a reminder that again, whether we know it or not consciously, even if we don't mean to, we have this idea of aging and that it is inevitable, it's a natural process, there's no escaping it. And the moment that any of us start to feel something different, and
Mhm.
oh, this is aging, and then this slow degradation of our mindset sets in. And I watch this across multiple age categories. And it really starts around our 40s, depending on what your practitioners or your zone of influence starts to tell you, depending on what your family history is and who you're surrounding yourself with and who you're seeing. And so people I call it, to me, I think about the frog that's put into the warm water and slowly cooked as the heat is turned up. We just kind of lull ourselves into an acceptance and a tolerating, and we think like, yeah, my best years are behind me. So I really want to thank you. I really want to thank your father and his legacy of just leaving that for all of us to know. It doesn't matter what you think, anything is possible. So what do you want, right? What are you willing to do? How are you willing to show up for yourself? And what a beautiful way he got to say goodbye to all of you. He got to tell you
Yeah.
all he loved you. Like how perfect. He was at such peace. Like, could it be any better to have a transition like that? That's amazing.
And I can talk about this today because guess what? We still feel like he's in India right now, traveling and enjoying life. Because
Yes.
in my mind, at the age of 89, he never suffered even one day. He never
Ah,
suffered. He was
wow.
living life. He was, and by the way, he was single. My mom passed away 25 plus years ago. So he was single, and he always just packs my bags and leaves. He just goes to India, he goes to Africa. I'm from Africa personally myself, so we have properties in Africa. So we have a house in Africa. So he goes there, he goes to India, we have a house over there too. And
Wow.
he just goes anywhere and everywhere he wants to go. Only thing I have to do for him is just buy him a ticket. And then he
Oh my
arranges everything.
gosh.
He arranges
Oh,
his cabs, his food, everything. He does everything on his own. I never do anything for him. And so I want to give people the hope that yes, healing happens faster when you're 30, 40, 50 years old, but healing never stops until the day you're dead.
yes, yes, the
Right?
body is a self-healing organism. You don't need a medication or a surgery. Everything can be a tool, but the body is a self-healing organism. It just depends on what state it's in. And so let's talk for a moment about
Right.
how we might know that we need to increase glutathione levels. Because if we're not healing, right? Like if we're in a
Right.
place, what would be some cues that people could all of a sudden go, I might need to think about this?
Unfortunately, some of the things that you find out that you have low glutathione levels is after you have some diseases. And that's an
Yeah.
unfortunate part because oxidative stress increases and it takes 10, 15 years sometimes to basically find out that, oh my God, now I have autoimmune conditions, or I have metabolic disorders, I have heart disease, I have diabetes, whatever that cause is, right? It's like, how do you know you have cancer? I said, well, the cancer was growing at least 10 to 15 years before you found out. And
Yeah.
it was not growing, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and even after that, if it's early on, you can do something about it. But if it's later stage, then you cannot. And so the better question is for me is that uh, if I were the researcher, I need to find out at what age do you think is the levels of glutathione dropping, and what age do
Mm.
you think that I should really think about? enhancing those levels. And to
Right.
me, is very early on, when you're young, very young, your body has all the tools it needs to make the glutathione, all the
Right.
tools, right?
Right.
So there's no need to supplements when you're young, unless you have some metabolic disorder, or no, sorry, not metabolic. You have some genetic disorder that you cannot
Mhm.
conjugate and produce your own glutathione. Then you're on the spectrum. Some of them, and people say, oh, everybody's on a spectrum nowadays, but that's not the true thing. People do have a detoxification pathways shunted, and they all show up on the spectrum. But those can help with glutathione. But besides those patients, nobody else needs to supplement glutathione at all. Fix your diet. Make sure you have those three amino acids rich foods,
Yes.
which is cysteine, glutamine, and glycine, and you are fine. Now let's see. Let's progress further. Society has said that at the age of 21 you can start drinking. Well, in to me, it's not a good age to start drinking yet because alcohol depletes the glutathione level,
Mm.
and I'm hoping that the kids are listening to this thing and deciding, hey, you know what? I don't have to drink. It doesn't give me anything. I don't have to drink. And if we can refrain or hold them from drinking at all, then they
Mm.
can go on until the 30, 35, 40 years of age without having supplementation of glutathione. But even with the alcohol, most people are able to still produce enough glutathione. You know, those 25-year-olds that's completely invincibles. Yeah, that
Right. Right.
that's
Yeah. It's their
that
secret
it's still
weapon. Inner
it's
high production
yeah.
of glutathione. Yeah.
So until the age of 30, I have never seen anybody with low glutathione level. So
Okay.
that's a good sign, right? Now, at the age of 30-ish, people do start seeing low glutathione levels, especially if you have multiple pregnancies, if we have a lot of hormonal issues. I
Mhm.
have people with extreme fatigue, people that have high stress jobs or high stress environments. Uh, People that have exposure to a lot of chemicals, pollutions, things like that, living in a place where they have in a sea of pollution,
Yeah.
those people may need to supplement glutathione at the starting the age of 30. Otherwise, most people can go without gluten up until 35-ish, right?
Okay.
By 40, I've never seen anybody with normal glutathione levels. And that's the
Mm.
thing. So ultimate 40 and above for sure, 35 and above, if you are extremely healthy, which is kind of hard to find nowadays, but
Yeah.
you should be okay. I'm from California right now, and the fires have really destroyed our environment right now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, anybody living in California right now, unfortunately, I don't care what age you are, you probably need to take glutathione right now just to detoxify yourself from all the products of combustion. But regardless if you're not California or not, there's always chemicals in the environment.
Yeah.
So 30 to 35 is a gray zone. 35 to 40 is a different shade of gray. And
Mhm.
40 and above is for sure you need to supplement glutathione. The signs and symptoms you are noticed are creepy forgetfulness kicks in, fatigue kicks in, sleep disturbance kicks in, and your ability of body to heal faster kicks in. That's what the main
Well,
signs.
your ability to heal faster would be impaired if those levels are low, correct? Is what
Right.
you were,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
Yes, you're right.
yeah,
Yeah.
because yeah. So all right, so then let's talk for a moment best delivery systems. So since we're at the point, and we're also going to come back, I want to kind of stay in this area for a few moments and unpack it because I know that there's we need to talk about bioavailability and again, best ways to get it in and best ways that we are seeing that is most effective at a cellular level.
Absolutely. So I always go back to what's approved by FDA, what's not approved by the FDA, what's going around the world. So let's start with that one first. FDA has approved medication called NAC, N-acetylcysteine. It's an approved medication. It's an amino acid, but they approved it as a medication. And even today's date, it's still used in the hospital settings to revive people from tidal toxicities, acetaminophen, which is a painkiller, toxicities of that one, or people are just basically needs increased glutathione because they have mucus filled in the lungs. So they use the medication that one today's to improve the glutathione even today's date. Only medication ever approved ever, right? So this was in the 60s. So now we are 60 years plus. We still talk about the same medication, which is 60 plus years ago, right? Since then, nothing has been approved yet. That doesn't mean that the people have not submitted applications for glutathione itself to be delivered, But what they found out was glutathione actually does not ever get absorbed in human bodies ever, right? So let
Mm.
me unpack that one first.
Yes,
1991,
please.
1991, they started doing intravenous. They was studying that on intravenous form of glutathione, and what they found out was even if you inject into your bloodstream straight up, right, it's going straight to the liver. You should be okay. You're fine. It's got there right now. Guess what they found out? Within 5 to 15 minutes, all the glutathione was in the urine.
Mm.
100% of the glutathione was in the plasma, which is the water part of the blood, and nothing in the red blood cells. Nothing. And
Mm.
what happened was, and then the researchers, of course, they didn't stop the study. They were observing what was happening with these patients. And what they found out was about an hour and a half or 3 hours later, they saw a rise in the blood of cysteine, one of the amino acids. And this, of course, they're scratching their head. What happened here? How did the cysteine get there? We didn't inject cysteine, we inject glutathione. The conclusion was the body was actually breaking down the glutathione into various amino acids.
Mhm.
Cysteine was reabsorbed. Cysteine was delivered intracellularly and later used to make glutathione on its own. And so that was a big aha moment. Of course, I didn't get it, so I didn't get that part. I was still a young kid. I was still in my infancy of researching, so I did not get that part about this whole concept. And so, of course, when I started doing my own work on glutathione, the first technology that came into my mind at that time was liposome technology. I'm
Mhm.
talking 1999,
Yep.
okay, 25 plus years ago. Liposome technology was the hottest thing because it's only available by prescriptions on a pharmaceutical drugs, but nothing was in the nutraceutical and the vitamin world ever. So we actually made the very first liposome products was vitamin C, CoQ10, glutathione, PQQ, astaxanthin, all these
Yep.
products, and I was so proud of myself. Saying, "Oh my God, we're going to save the world, right?" uh, 2 years later, no, some of the products worked, but glutathione did not work on me. And I could not figure out why it was not working. It helps some people, it doesn't help everybody.
Yeah.
And as a pharmacist, I want to give medications I want to guarantee the absorption.
Right.
It may not work for you, that's a whole different story. But at least if I give you something, it's going to get to where it's supposed to go.
Hmm.
If it doesn't do any work, but it never got to where it's supposed to go, which is the intracellular levels of glutathione never rose and
Hmm.
everybody. I said, what's going on? I couldn't figure that portion out. So you know what? Since that was not going to work for long term, I referred back to the intravenous glutathione. I said, hey, at least I know that's going to work for 5 to 15 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I knew that part, right? So I said, okay, let's just make that one. So I made for 20 years, I make intravenous form of glutathione. I was making that because I had no other better options, even though I knew it was not going to work. 2011 comes around. This was after 5 years of when I discovered the glutathione that I was making, that some researcher up in Texas at the University of Texas in Austin uh, did a study with liposome technology products.
Hmm.
And what they found out was the exact same thing as what they found in the IVs. When they take the glutathione by liposomes, there was a net increase of all the amino acids in the blood,
Hmm.
but no glutathione. And later on, 2 weeks later, the glutathione levels were rising, is because the amino acids were getting broken down, was
Yeah.
used up to produce its own glutathione. So, hey, if you're a consumer, you say, so what? If I can make the glutathione, I don't care how it's come there, as long as the level gets up higher. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you that, uh, Melissa, so you are a very fancy girl. I know that. So your needs are about $1 million a year to survive. Right? So you work really hard. You work really, really hard. You do this podcast, you do the see patients, all those things, and the best you can do is make about $100,000 a year. But your needs are 1 million. So what you do,
There's a deficit.
there's a huge deficit. There's a side gig you pick up and all those things, and you have 2 arms and 2 legs, and you said that, you know what? God gave you everything you need. Why can't you work harder? And so you work harder, you do extra work, and somehow, when you in your 20s, you make up $1 million. And hooray. Okay, I got this thing. But now that you are 30, you can only, I don't care how hard you work, you can only make $800,000. But you need a 1 million. The needs never change. If you're depending on your body's ability to produce glutathione, and
Mhm.
if you know that your ability is going to decrease as you age because it needs two enzymes, two molecules of ATP, and one molecule of NAD to produce one molecule of glutathione, it needs so much stuff to produce one molecule of glutathione. And if your energy is reducing and you expect the body to produce enough glutathione, that ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
And so all the medications in the world were never ever going to enhance your level more than your body's ability to convert from cysteine to glutathione.
Yeah.
And to me, that was the biggest aha moment I ever got in my life. I said, there has to be a way to deliver glutathione intracellularly and get to the chemical barrier because cell is a chemical barrier, lock and key. Getting to the cell is a physical barrier.
Yeah.
So I have to figure out a physical barrier and a chemical barrier, both into one medicine to get through the system, right?
Yeah.
And so that's my technology. We developed what we did was we took the glutathione molecule. We basically did protein enveloping method where you just twist the protein around and makes
Yeah.
it small and small and small. When you did that part, when you twist it, it becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. When you do that part, it gets through your skin.
Yeah.
Physical barrier. Your skin's a physical barrier, right? It got to
Yeah.
the skin. Okay, whew, one job done. The second part was a bigger problem because now we have a chemical barrier.
Yep.
The cell does not accept anything other than what it needs. So what does the cell needs? Carbohydrates and sugars. So
Yep.
my idea is that, okay, what if I cannot give sugar, otherwise you'll give diabetes. What if I can take some inert polysaccharide molecules and stuff it inside with glutathione. So the cell thinks it's just polysaccharides. Oh, I can take it, sucks it up, but
Yep.
inside is glutathione. And so that's my second part piece of technology. That's what we did. And when we did that part, of course, the body can spit it out if they want to. But hey, oh my God, I like this glutathione. I can use it up. And instantaneously, glutathione has been absorbed, delivered, and ready to use. It's like you getting money in your wallet.
Like that. Okay, so first of all, wow, I love it. I so appreciate how your brain works. It's fantastic, because you just have such an appreciation of really what is needed. And so I do want to back up for a moment. You've just given us the easy button. So why would we not want to do that? And I want to talk about your delivery system more and understand like what that is, your product, etc. However, if we back up, are we able to bring in what the body needs? Are we able, by way of end of fork, the precursors? So it's amino acids, amino acid gang, those are in proteins. Are you getting enough protein? Often people are not. So it's some of those questions. Can we bring in the right proteins, so really those micronutrients, those polysaccharides, those essential fatty acids that would, in theory, provide the right building blocks to the system, that it would kind of have everything. So when it needs it, brings it in, or are you still finding deficits even when people are getting the right precursors, with what they're bringing in their nutrition?
So the deficit doesn't happen until like age 40 for sure.
Mhm.
But
Sure.
until that time, deficit could happen even a 20-year-old if you don't have a proper diet, right? So the two things you have to do, no matter what, at any age, is avoid expenses. What expenses do you have that is depleting your glutathione level? So exposure to excessive sunlight, exposure to chemicals, pollution, or by the way, even a one drink of alcohol can deplete the glutathione levels to zero. One drink. So
Yikes.
if they say that, hey, I only drink one on every Friday and Saturday, well, those 2 days you might as well invite everybody in the universe to come attack your body. Well, that's only one day a week. If that's okay with you, go for it. If not, like what I did, I stopped drinking completely. Right? You can do the same thing.
Mhm.
So that's one thing. Avoid expenses of glutathione, right? The second thing you can do is ingest those three amino acid rich foods. If you can ingest those three foods, your body can produce enough glutathione until the day you die. So until the last breath, you can still produce enough glutathione. And these three amino acids are not essential amino acids, right? Cysteine, glutamine, and glycine are not part of the 8 essential amino acids that's to build up your muscles and the proteins and every single thing in your body. So these are not even the essential amino acids. So it's not very easy to find in your diet, cysteine in your diet. So what I would suggest, again, I'm not going to give you nutrition advice, but I'm going to tell you that put in your favorite search engine or call your AI robot and say, hey, find me cysteine-rich foods. And they're going to give you a list of foods. You have your choice of vegan, vegetarian, carnivore, omnivore, paleo, Atkins. I don't care what diet you're on. It's going to give you all these choices. Please make sure that you have those foods on a daily basis because your body produces glutathione every single day. It
Mhm.
needs it, and you have to consume those foods on a daily basis. In my book, I have a 14-day plan to boost your glutathione levels. Please don't fall for the gimmick. It's a marketing plot by the publisher. I'm not here to put the publisher down, but I'm just telling you it's a marketing plot. That's my lifelong plan. It's not a 14-day plan. That's in my diet
Yeah.
every single day, right?
Nice. Good, 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 good. Yes. I'm so appreciative that you just said that simply because we all do look for just the quick start. Like, I just have to go do this thing for a week, or 2 weeks, a month, whatever. And we think of the word diet. I got to do the diet, the thing. And you're like, no, this is a life plan. And so I would invite everybody when you think about that, it doesn't have to be a hard. It's kind of going, what are the things I want to do more of? What are the things I want to do less of? And you are in control of mastering your own destiny. So it's little bits like, what little thing do I want to add today? Let me be conscious. How can I bring more of these foods in? What of these do I like? You don't have to eat them all. What do I want to do more of? And so food is one part. And I'm assuming there's definitely other lifestyle variables, some of the things that you do in your life plan. Talk to us more about that.
Okay. So I always want to stimulate my body to work for us, right? It's
Yeah.
like everybody wants to do the work, but unless you tell the body, say, "Hey, body, can you work a little harder for me?" So what we call them micro stressors, right? A micro stressor. So for example, I'll get a hyperbaric chamber at least 3, 4 times a week, right? Of course, it's pumping oxygen all over the body, and oxygen, if you do not know that part, oxygen is the healing gas in our body. It heals everything inside, right? But excess oxygen can also cause oxidative stress.
Hmm.
So I'm not saying stop breathing because you'll die in a second, right? So, but oxygen is good for you. It's the angel of life and angel of death, right? You needed
Yeah.
a lot of it to get everywhere in the body. It produces enough stress to basically activate your body's defense system and start healing the body from inside out. And as soon as I come out of the chamber, I'll spray the glutathione on me. So any excess oxygen that has not been used up just gets depleted and gets neutralized, and I'm done. So that's one of my regimen I do. I I do use sauna once in a while. I don't have a sauna in my house yet. I do want to get a sauna in my house soon. So hopefully, next year if we talk again, I'll probably have a sauna in my house already.
Jay?
Uh, that's my other goal. I do also do some lymphatics drainage. So I have a lymphatic system in my house. Plus, I also go to a masseuse at least once or twice a week, and because I really want to activate my body's cleaning power. I want to activate anything that cleans my body. I want to
Yeah.
make sure that it's doing on a regular basis. Well,
Yeah.
so I'll do physically. I'll go to masseuse and have them do the lymphatic drainage for me at least once or twice a week sometimes, right?
Nice. Nice.
Not, I understand not everybody has the privilege to can do that part all the time, money, everything else. But if you don't have that, they sell those chairs now. They have all these different modalities that can squeeze your body to kind of pump
Yeah.
up the lymphatic systems, do whatever it takes, right? So that's my second thing that I do. I do a lot of things. I exercise only what I can tolerate. I never over exercise ever, because if you think about it, uh, the strongest beast in the jungle is gorilla. He eats vegetables and
Sits
leaves,
around.
but guess what? He's the strongest guy.
Yeah.
How the heck does
Yeah.
he get there, right? He's not pumping irons over there, just running down up and down the mountains. No, he's walking and just
Yeah.
doing what he's supposed to do. So if you give the right nutrients to your body, I truly believe that your body will enhance your muscle growth, your proteins gets into your body. So diet is the most important part to me.
Mm, I love it. So you just really kind of gave us your roadmap. And so I just want to counter check. So from a clinical standpoint,
Uh-huh.
again, you're a leader in anti-aging and longevity medicine. If you were to build the optimal super
Okay.
longevity stack, what would that be? So I'm already hearing hyperbaric, so HBOT, obviously glutathione. So I'm
Uh-huh.
thinking more through a clinical lens. Obviously, we as individuals want to go out, we want to keep moving, we want to rest, to recover, heat, absolutely. So those were great lifestyle things. So clinically, what would that stack look like for you?
So for me, there's only two things we can do, right?
Mhm.
One is to close the door of oxidative stress by glutathione and then figure out everything that repairs your body from inside, that enhances your stem cells, enhancing your gene, reducing the mutation of your genes. And so those are the two things that I would suggest for everybody to look into it, right? Uh, to stop the oxidative stress is we only have one product. Actually, let me back up one thing. There's three things the body can do to reduce oxidative stress down.
Okay.
One, and I put them in three different categories. Category number one is you take exogenous from outside the body products like vitamin C, vitamin E, CoQ10, algae extracts, C60s, methylene blue. I mean, there's a slew of products that in the market says that we are so-called antioxidants.
Yeah.
That's all category one to me. Okay. Category number two is a body produces enzymes called catalase or superoxide dismutase, SOD for short, or glutathione peroxidase, which is GPX for short. These are enzymes I consider as category two because they also quench all free radicals.
Mhm.
Category number three is only one product, which is glutathione.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you combine category one and category two together, glutathione is more powerful, more stronger in
Wow.
antioxidant effects than those two combined.
Wow. So
And
we can save ourselves a lot of money on all those extra supplements by just going to the
that's right.
master, yeah,
Yeah.
antioxidant. So what, so talk to us then about like, okay, if there's only one, and yes, we can, so thank you for telling us the food's rich in the amino acids so that we can do our part by looking at what's on the end of our fork. Then what's the product? What, like, where do we, because there's different ones out in the marketplace. So
That's
does
right.
everything that's liposomal, is your technology patented only to you? Is it in other places now? Is it a shared technology delivery system? Where do we find it?
So the technology is patented, and as I said earlier, the technology has not been used widely at this point. There are few pharmaceutical products in the marketplace today. I mean, like I said, I've been working this for over 20 plus years now. There are a couple of pharmaceutical products in the marketplace today, but there's nothing on the nutraceutical side at this point. And
Mm,
because of that, I had to bring the everything in-house, the manufacturing of the product, the sourcing of the chemicals, the marketing of the products, everything I brought in-house because I had to control the whole process, unfortunately, because nobody knew how to make this product, right? So at this point, it is not liposome technology at all. It's completely different. It's a dextrin technology that we're using, which is the first in the world for this delivery system.
mm,
People would assume that, hey, this is patented, so it's going to be expensive. Yes, the price is higher, but to control the cost down, as I said, I had to bring the manufacturing in-house because if I go to contract manufacturing for this product, it will be
yeah.
horrendous. So to control the cost, I got everything. And so the technology is Dextrin technology. It's available through our website, or we do have quite a few doctors' offices. Any healthcare providers can buy from us and
Mhm.
basically give it to the patients.
Okay.
So the only distributors we have are all healthcare providers at this point,
Okay.
uh, or
Fantastic.
else they can go to our website.
Everybody just got really excited and then they got really the our listeners that are, we do have a lot of practitioners that listen, but for all of our audience it's like, gosh darn, I'm not a practitioner, where do I go get glutathione? So is there anything on the, and I'm not asking you to endorse a brand, but
Mhm.
again, when we're out there just kind of searching, do we look at precursors? Is there something if we're
Yes.
not, yeah, okay, what should we
So,
look for?
so the first thing, by all means, if you're looking for precursors to improve the glutathione levels, there's only one thing, is NAC. Glycine and glutamine, there's plenty in the body, plenty in your diet. You don't have to worry about that part. Cysteine is the one that's not available. Again, if you're gonna eat every day anyways,
Yeah.
might as well eat cysteine-rich foods. Then you will avoid the supplements. Again, I make a living by selling supplements, and I'm telling you, I myself only take one supplement.
What's your one supplement?
I take
Is the one
magnesium.
you make? Is the one you're
Well,
manufacturing?
well, I don't consider glutathione as a supplement. I know it
Okay,
is a
okay.
supplement. I don't consider that a supplement because that to me is it's not even it's like the base everybody should be on it anyways. But supplement that I do take is magnesium. That's
Yeah.
one thing because I need my electron transfers, electricity transfer in my muscles the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm always stimulating my muscles, so for that I need a lot of magnesium.
Yeah.
I eat a lot of amino acids
Mhm.
in my diet, so I want to make sure that I have enough magnesium to have that electrical charge and working at all times. So that's what I take.
Awesome. All right. I love it. I love it. Well, you've gotten us all excited. And you know what I do appreciate is that there is so much that we can do in lifestyle. And so as we get ready to round out our conversation today, Dr. Patel, which I could just keep chatting with you for such a long time. You're just such a lovely human. I appreciate how you're informing and educating us today and keeping things like I feel that everything you've shared with us, it's deeply science backed. It's how the body works, but yet it feels so accessible. So I personally want to thank you. You've just been a joy. But let's go back for a moment and just kind of talk about your vision. So you got to witness your father
Yes.
basically come back to life and really spend his last decade plus thriving, just going out and having adventures of aliveness. What is your vision, your longevity vision for you? Like, how has he inspired you to kind of reframe what you think is possible for yourself and how you want to be living?
Oh my God, that's a great question because this is what I visualize every single day. I spend about 14, 15 minutes every morning. I close my eyes. I'll do some exercise to increase my heart rate, not a heart rate, but to pump up the blood in my body, to get some tingly feeling in my body, and then sit back and just have my mind open up. And the first thing I want to do is learn how to be grateful for every single thing that has come into my life,
Hmm.
right? Gratitude to me is the most important thing. If you have a private jets and big house by the beach, is going to get really, really old,
Yeah.
pretty fast. But what's not going to get old is how you make people feel, how you enjoy things in life, how do you help other people get the best out of their life. And so to me, my vision of longevity is that I'll be happy when every single human being on this planet had the chance to improve their health with glutathione.
Wow.
That's my vision. And I completely understand that more than 90% of the people cannot afford my product. I completely understand that part at this point. But I'm trying and I'm working really hard to try to figure out how can I make this accessible to every human being on this planet because every human being needs glutathione. I just need to figure out how do I get to them, right? And so that's my vision personally. And if my vision is correct, if my thoughts are pure, I'm going to be given the life
Hmm.
to make sure that longevity is going to come because I have a purpose in life. Longevity is
Yeah.
going to come because I'm doing whatever it takes for me to stay alive, so I can serve more people. So that's my plan. I'll do whatever it takes. I have keep on nipping my bad habits one by one. As I said, I don't drink alcohol. I don't try not to eat any junk food. I don't eat too much sweets and things like that. I try to stay healthy as much as possible. And I just hope that one day people look and say, I remember this guy from 25, 30 years ago. He was bragging about this thing. He's still alive and still pedaling and still helping other people. That's my plan for longevity. Serve and celebrate.
I love it. And so when we all start taking glutathione and we get it in and we keep those levels supported, this last question for you. What do you believe that what kind of impact could that make on extending health span and lifespan? So as we're thinking super longevity, like could it potentially give us, and I know this might be hypothetical, you might not have the data, but I'm just thinking, what do you believe becomes possible when everybody is actually getting that super molecule? They have accessibility to it. Our bodies are able, the door stays closed. We're able to, really support those self-healing mechanisms. How much more, how much longer, how much better could we be living?
So again, my goal is to live to 120. So, excuse me, I'm sorry. My goal is to live to 120, and my dad's goal was to live to 120. He would have lived to 120, but as I said, the top 10 cause of death, one is
Accidents.
accidents.
Yep.
I cannot prevent that. Well,
Yeah.
I can if I can, if I increase my awareness. But the other nine causes of are linked to oxidative stress. So if I can stop oxidative stress in my body, I can possibly live to 120. And it's not living to 120 is what I'm shooting for. Is thriving to 120 is what I'm shooting
Hmm.
for. And only way I can thrive, only way I can succeed is basically if I have a purpose in life. So everybody wants to live longer, but they have no purpose in life. Uh, there's no joy, there's no fun. And when the purpose comes, when you have purpose in mind, then you do things right. Then you
Yes.
listen. Then you listen to you and say, okay, what is Melissa bringing today? I want to
Yeah.
listen to her because I want to do all these modalities. I want to eat healthy. I want to exercise. I want to do micro stressors in my body on a daily basis. I want to have all these plans coming to me because everything has a small role in it. Even glutathione has a small role in it. I don't expect you to take glutathione for the rest of your life. I do expect you to keep your levels up high enough. And
Yeah.
one more secret I'll tell you that if you take glutathione on a daily basis, after a while, your body recycles glutathione. And if you reduce your stresses that exposing your body to excessive oxidative stress, guess what? Your need for glutathione may actually stabilize or reduce.
Mm.
So instead of spraying every single day, twice a day, you may be getting away with once a day. And
Yeah.
if you forget a few days, it's no big deal,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that's the place I want to for everybody to be there at.
Mm.
So.
I love it. Where can people learn more about you and your exciting research?
Oh, my website is aurowellness.com, AURO wellness.com. And for those ladies, I hear you because glutathione is so powerful that I've used the same technology to deliver all the antioxidants for your skin. So we have a skincare line as well for those ladies as well. Again, uh, that was my thing for my friends and family only, and they loved it. And so they said, "Can you just make this available for the rest of the people?" So about few years ago, I started selling to the skincare lines. So, anyways, for those ladies, try enjoy that part too. All I can tell you is one thing: if my dad had no hope to thrive, and he was living his best time of his life in the last 10 years, there's not enough money in the world that he would not have had to repeat the same thing again.
Yeah.
And so I want people to give people hope that, you know what, it's not about the glutathione, it's the hope. It's the
Yeah.
hope that you're getting that, hey, I'm closing the door of bringing stress in my body
Yeah.
and I'm allowing my body to heal. And when you put a mindset to that, it's not about the product. It's about the product and your personal habits that you're going to change
Yes.
to start healing your body from inside. I wish I can be the catalyst, right?
Mm.
I can be the catalyst for you. So please try the product. Please embrace all your good habits.
Yeah.
And the last thing is that, Dr. Peterson, I know you've been doing this for a lot of podcasts, these things. Listen to her. Please listen to her. Share this information. Share with at least 9 or 10 other different friends, because this message is to get out to everybody, saying that, hey,
Yeah.
it's not about a product, it's about the lifestyle that you want to
Yes.
make a change.
Yes, may we all remember we are the custodians of our own health, the masters of our own destiny. Dr. Patel, I want to just reflect to you. I am so grateful to you. I am so happy that you joined us today, that you shared your heart, your brain, your wisdom, your knowledge, and your stories and your laughter. So you've definitely made an impact and a difference in my life. And I'm sure everybody who has listened today. So thank you truly for being a guest today. It's been such a joy and an honor.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. All right, everyone. Man, I know we could keep going, but we're going to bring today's episode to a conclusion. As always, continue to go out and stay bold and curious to enjoy greater and greater states of aliveness. Until next time, I'm your host, Dr. Melissa Grohl-Peterson. Be well. Thank you for joining us on RAADcast, where science and soul ignite the future of radical life extension. Be sure to visit us over at radfest.com. There you can engage with like minds in the super longevity movement and find out about upcoming conferences and events. If you're inspired by today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who's ready to live bigger, bolder, and longer. Stay curious, and we'll see you next time on RAADcast.